Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and today I'm going to review the released 4K version of John Carpenter's Halloween. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends, hit the bell notification. I put out videos daily. So I had a chance to pick up John Carpenter's Halloween on 4K. And the movie itself, I'm a big fan of. Of course, I like anything Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers. So I was very interested on how this was going to look in 4K. Considering I just picked up and watched Christine in 4K, another John Carpenter film, I was anxiously waiting to see if it would go hand in hand or on par with how I felt that transfer looked. If you're interested in that video, I'll put a link in the description. I did a review of Christine. I felt it was a very well done disc by Sony. It looked almost flawless to me. The day and night scenes looked excellent for a film of its age. So I was anxious to see on how Halloween, a film equally as old, would look, and if there was a lot of care given to it. Now, I will say that it's an okay overall transfer. It is not as breathtaking as I felt Christine was. Christine, I thought, could have easily been a great top 5 as far as older films over 30 years old in as far as quality goes. You have movies like Bridge on the River Kwai and such that look like they were done practically yesterday, considering how nice they looked. Halloween looked like a uptick at best of Blu-ray quality. It does get enhanced by the Dolby Vision and the HDR effect. Now, where I felt the movie shined were, of course, anything that happened at night. The darker scenes I felt were great. Throughout the movie, there's an appropriate level of film grain, which it was shot on film, so there should be film grain. But the nighttime scenes I felt were the strongest point. The shadow detail I felt was very nice. There was a little slight bump as far as HDR and what it does to certain things, like Michael's costume at the beginning of the movie. I felt had a little bit of shimmer to it that looked really nice, and a couple of smaller detail things like wood on the staircase and things like that looked, you can make out the detail. It looked good. And also my favorite scene in the movie was also my favorite scene on this disc, where Michael's hiding, when he's stalking Laurie, and he emerges from the shadow. It looked great to me. That was my favorite part of this disc. The shadow was like black, and then all of a sudden the face just appears. I felt that was really well done with this transfer. Now, where it suffers, and when it suffers, it really suffers, are the daytime scenes near the beginning of the movie. They look so desaturated, just void of color. The skies are not blue; they're white. Everything just has a very muted color palette. It doesn't look good. I remember from years ago in the original, I believe it was the 2000 release, those scenes were, while they weren't perfect, they at least were warm. These are very cold. The color is cool. If you want to know what I'm talking about, go onto your TV and select your color settings, and you'll have normal, cold, warm 2. Hit cold on that on any kind of disc, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's almost a lifeless picture. I never saw this in the theater, so I can't speak as to how it was supposed to look. But supposedly this was approved by John Carpenter and his cinematographer. But sometimes that's just a paycheck and a handshake kind of thing. It's not a, how much detail did he really put into approving this? It looked unnatural. Now, if you go back to Christine, those daytime scenes were lovely. Like they were a nice color to them. the HDR helped with that, but in Halloween, they just don't look good at all. Is this a deal breaker as far as picture quality goes? You know, I wouldn't pay $30 for this. If it's currently floating around at 17, I'm sure it's going to go down to like, you know, 15 or even 10 maybe at some point. It's possible. Do I think it's for an uptick over the Blu-ray? Sure. It's not great. If you are, and another thing, if going to the audio, if you're a purist, you're not going to be happy with this. They do not include the original mono track. They only include the Dolby Digital mono track from years ago on the, I believe it was the 2013 Blu-ray. I didn't like it. I listened to the 7.1. It was okay. It was good. It was nice. It was immersive. You know, for a movie as old as it is, it sounds good with the 7.1, but purists are not going to be happy with this release. I don't think they're going to be happy picture-wise. I don't think they're going to be happy audio-wise. So if this is something that's super important to you, I would maybe skip this one. They put out countless editions of this movie over the years. They might revisit it again in the next couple. I don't know. To me, I picked it up. I'm happy, but I'm not thrilled with how it turned out. It is, of course, an iconic movie in the horror genre. It's something that for every point in my collecting history, I've owned a copy of in some form. I don't think it's a spectacular release. It's okay. You know, if you don't own a copy of the movie, sure, go for it. It's I think it's as good as we're going to get for now. I'm hoping that a complete restoration is in the cards, maybe for the 50th. You know, who knows? You know, we got a little wait for that, but overall, I'm disappointed compared to Christine from just a couple weeks ago. That is how you transfer a movie and do a restoration. It looked beautiful. It was a joy to look at. And this is decidedly not as much. So, yeah, I'll leave it up to you, but leave your thoughts in the comments. Are you picking it up? Did you pick it up? What did you think? Please, you know, like the video, you know, subscribe. It keeps me going. I do these videos on a daily basis. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.